Welcome to the Mother Daughter-ish podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Angelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today. Hey, mothers and daughters, let's discuss self-care. This weekend, I had an amazing weekend with friends, and I'll be putting up a show about that on this coming up Saturday. It's going to be all about small, great cities in Texas, like Fredericksburg, Comfort, Texas, Medina, Texas, places like that most people, maybe they visit once in their lifetime and they forget about it, but not realizing that those cities really grow. Well, I want to tell you what I think self-care importance is. And here's the good news. You can make it up as you go, and you can curate it in your own way. For me, it's physical, mental, and emotional. PME. Kind of like PMI. You know, I really it's one of those things that's so important that it's a fabric of my life. You know how we wear clothing, that's a fabric. Some people wear other hair, that's a fabric, because a lot of it is made out of certain hair technique fabrics. Anything that's important to you, you will make time to do it. I say this all the time. But I was talking with some new friends that I met. They live in San Marcos. This event that I went to, there were people from all different places. From the Houston area. They were from the San Marcos area. There were people that were from San Antonio, Austin, just multiple places, Kerrville. We got together and just had a little bit of fun. And we were just sitting there talking about just being thankful on how blessed we are to even curate our own self-care. And curating, all I'm saying is doing what works for you. What works for me, it may not work for you. My thing is figure out what does work for you. For me, when it comes to physical self-care, on my checklist is making sure that I have hobbies that keep me busy. For example, a hobby could be what I did this weekend, hanging out with my car club. We do fun runs. We did one in January in Waco, Texas. This month was what we call a Twisted Sisters 9th year event, where we go through the hill country. And we go through some of the twistiest, windiest, long, nice roads. Roads that go up so high and so low, you feel like your car is flying on its own. Very, what I like to call butt clenchers. But I like active hobbies that, keep me happy and keep me active, where I don't have to say, okay, I have to go to the gym today for 20 minutes to do this specific thing. Whereas as long as I'm active, I'm happy about that. So that's me curating how I move my body around and how I do things. Spending time outdoors is so important. And here's where it's so funny for me. I get caught between this. I love nature. I love being outside. I love the sun shining on my face. I love the wind on my skin. I love being out walking in just public or whatever. Which is why I can't wait to show you my video from Fredericksburg. That's a cute little town, and I got a chance to walk downtown. It was so fun to just feel the wind in my face. But then I get caught between but I hope there's no animals that are going to kill me, type of thing. Like, I would be the type of girl, chick, lady, woman that would love to just go to any national forest and just follow the trail as far as I could walk and come back. But only if I'm promised There's no animals, no bears, no nothing. Here's a funny thing. I've done it so many times in other places, and honestly, my spirit told me it was okay, so I did it. I did it in Costa Rica, where I went up to the forest and watched the craters and, and the volcanoes, and walked through all by myself. And there was only maybe 2 times that my mind said, but you do know that there's probably animals in here that could kill you. And I had to literally talk my way out of thinking like that. I've gone to several national forests with my car group as we do road trips. And I stay in the public areas where we visit the outlook, the overlook, go to the visitor center, walk through. I've done it through botanical gardens that went through forest. So I've done it and love it, love nature, but just very careful about it, Another self-care physical checklist for me is nutrition. I'm no different than anyone else on the planet. I go through these phases where I just want junk food, and then I go through these phases where it's like, I'm only going to eat organic everything. I'm only going to drink good, clean, filtered water. I'm not going to have any candy, no chips, no cookies, no popcorn. Now, I know y'all heard me say popcorn. You'll probably say she lying. But seriously, since that is my favorite snack on the planet, forget candy and chips. Popcorn is my favorite snack on the planet. My next self-care checklist, I just kind of mentioned it, hydration. This week, I've been this is the beginning of the week, but starting last Friday or Thursday, I started chewing on limes every day. Let me tell you what I noticed. And this is just my observation. I'm not telling you this is scientific or anything like that, but I buy these little bitty small little key limes because, a lime is bigger than a key lime. So I buy the key limes, I cut them in half, and then I just chew on them. And then I drink water. It really helps to flush the toxins out of your body. It really keeps your breath fresh. Like, I can smell limes on my breath for like 3 days. Even after I've brushed my teeth every morning and all of that good stuff. It really keeps the breath so fresh. I'm like, listen, don't judge me and don't tell nobody. But like over the weekend, I was chewing on some limes while I'm in the car. And I just kept, you know how you smell your own breath. And I was like, man, my breath smells so good and fresh. And I just was so impressed and so excited about that because it's just good to have good, fresh breath. And you know how sometimes you're out all day, you've eaten a meal, you've drank some juice or whatever, and then you're like, okay, I need to chew some gum or whatever. But the limes, it just keeps the breath so fresh. I'll also give you another tip about limes, that if you just cut them in half and squeeze them really good, you can use it for a natural deodorant. I use it for deodorant. So I use several things. I use baking soda for deodorant. I use limes for deodorant. I use lemons for deodorant. So those are things that I put under my underarm. I do not use any kind of other processed deodorant or anything like that. I use limes in my soaps that I make. So just try it. Chew on you some little key limes. I just cut those little bitty babies in half and I maybe chew on like 4 a day. And I'm good. I just chewed on 4 this morning. Breath smelling good. Exercise is something on my checklist. And I am not a typical person who goes to a gym. As a matter of fact, I do not like going to a gym. And let me tell you why. Because when I was in my 20s and 30s and I went to the gym, I always had to be so cute. And I always had to have the cutest outfit. Because I wasn't really there to work out. I was really there to look at the very healthy, gorgeous men. And I was there to show off my body. Now I don't know how much more real somebody can get than what I just said. So because I despised the whole thought of that, because who goes to the gym with makeup on? Duh. You always know the ones who are not there to really work out. I wasn't there to really work out. I was just there to look. exercise benefits you, of course. So what I do now is I have a whole body vibration machine, and I'm going to do a show on it one day as well. It's in my closet, and because I go to my closet every day to either get some shoes, to get some shorts, to get, something to wear to bed, or to plan my outfit for the week, or if I'm traveling to do, I keep my whole body vibration in my closet in front of my huge, huge, huge mirror. And the reason I keep it in there is because it's a rather large machine that I didn't want to have out in public. Plus, when my kids were little, I've had it for years and years, plus probably 10 years. When my kids were little, I didn't want them to just kind of willy-nilly be on it. Because, if your kids do things like that, they're grown now, of course. But when they were kids, they were curious and, they want to do things as well. Because as a family, before I purchased one in my home, we used to actually go to a Z location where we would work out, and it was like $5. So the reason I like to exercise on the whole body vibration machine is because for every 10 minutes that you're on there, it's an hour. So I do about 30 minutes on there. So then I get to brag that I did 3 hours of exercise a day. Now, I will give you a warning with the whole body vibration machine. It will make your legs skinny. I'm glad that I've always had very thick legs, that it just really emphasize the line on the side, which I just love. But it does vibrate all of the, all of those legs. It will make your legs really, really, really skinny. Because when I did it for like 2-3 years straight, it made my legs so skinny. I just stopped doing it, and I just do it like 3 days a week now because I just don't want that. And I stopped sitting on it because it was making my butt smaller. And it's like, okay, who wants a small butt? And when I say small, I just mean flat, and I didn't want that. So I stopped sitting on it. But it's really good for the arms. It's really good for the legs. And if you can keep your legs polished up with shea butter or whatever you use for tightening skin, or if you have things that tighten the skin, then you'll be just fine. I have different techniques that I use to tighten skin. So I'll be okay. But I just wanted to warn you about the whole body vibration machine because, yeah, you can lose weight and keep your weight stable, but it will make your legs skinny. And if you don't like skinny legs, that, might not be for you. And let me tell y'all something. Anybody who really knows me knows this last one is absolutely a self-care checklist for me, because they know if they call me between 2 and 3:30 in the evening, they're not typically going to get me. Why? Because I'm resting. Self-care and rest, that's my number one thing. Out of everything I just listed to you, getting my rest is important. I feel better when I'm rested. I'm nicer when I'm rested. My body feels more energetic when I'm rested. I can think better when I'm rested. I take naps every single day, and I typically like to be in the bed early. I'll give you an example. Yesterday, I spent my time driving back from Fredericksburg, Texas, and when I got home, it was about 1:53. I got a really, really good, nice, warm shower, and by 2:30, after I ate my lemons, drank me some water, about maybe 2:30, 3 o'clock, I was in the bed. And I just kind of laid there and caught up on some things, caught up on my calendar, caught up on my emails, caught up on a couple of shows that I had missed. And by 4:30, I was literally ready to retire for the evening, and I went to bed so early. Typically, I will tell you I'm a very country woman. Think whatever you want to think about that. But when the lights come on outside, I'm ready to get up. Sometimes I'm up at 3, 4 in the morning before they even come on. So I will tell you, when I travel to Honduras for mission trips every year in July, I loved being in Honduras because it's daylight there at 4 a.m., 3 a.m. I'm up. So that was really perfect for me to be up in the jungle at that time. But typically about 6 or 7 o'clock, I want to be in the bed. I didn't say I want to be asleep. I'm just saying I want to be laying down. I want to be resting. I prefer to be in the bed. I'm not a nighttime person. I'm not a night owl. I'm not a person who will stay up all night unless I'm working on something that has a deadline or is pressing or something like that. But rest is so important. Nap can be 15 minutes. It's just a rejuvenation. And I'm talking about a real nap. Like, I got my bonnet on my head. I got my socks on my feet. I'm in whatever I want to be comfortable in. And I literally get under the cover. And I just pretend like this is it for the day. Now, sometimes that'll get me in trouble, because if I take a nap at 2 o'clock and I don't wake up till 5, I'm like, dang it. Because I like to naturally let myself wake up. And naturally, I'm going to wake up 2 hours later instead of 5. Because if it cuts into the evening time, then it's very hard for me to like restart. But that's why I make sure I have everything done between 3 a.m. and 2 p.m. because then if I do want to just lay down for the rest of the evening and do whatever I want to do to feel good about that, then I can do it and it's no big deal. Now, for people who have a typical 9 to 5 job, your best bet is on your lunch break. If you get an hour, you can take 30 minutes of just quiet rest with your eyes closed and meditate, and then 30 minutes to eat if you want to do it that way. If you only get 30 minutes of food time at work, then you want to do 15 minutes of meditation and rest and do 15 minutes of a light meal. Okay, that will work for you. All right, so on my self-care checklist is also my mental wellness. One number, because I wrote this list, before I even go down this list, I need you to understand this. I don't put myself in situations where I have to or must be around people that annoy me. And when I say annoy me, I mean just that we don't have the same belief system. Okay? For me, my mental wellness is who I'm associated with. If you got a lot of drama going on, if you got a lot of nastiness going on, if you got a lot of non-starter stuff going on, if you got a lot of procrastination going on, if you got a lot of negative energy going on, I'm not around you. Don't worry. Don't worry at all. So when it comes to my mental care, journaling is something that's important to me. And journaling for me could include anything from gratitude journaling to what I thought about something journaling. It could be for the week, what I need to make sure that I tackle for the week. I love to be able to know what I'm doing for the week. I don't like to not, know what's the next day. I just mentioned meditation. That can be on your self-care checklist. Meditation is something that took me 3 years to know exactly how to do it without being distracted. I've had so many people. I just had this conversation with somebody. I was out of town somewhere and I met somebody, ladies, and we were just talking about meditating, and I was saying to her, I was on a cruise and we were just talking, and I was saying, it took me 3 years to figure out how to just be able to block everything out around me, all the energy, all the conversations, all of the noise that you can hear, people talking, registers ringing, just everything, and to just block out everything and go into my own world. And I know when all the noise disappears, it's working, because I can literally sit there and just tell myself whatever I want to tell myself while I'm meditating, and literally the noise is canceled. It's like having on noise canceling headphones, but only I just train my mind to do that. So meditation is so important because it gives you an opportunity to relax everything, your muscles, your energy, your nervous system, your body, your mind, your soul, everything. Another self-care opportunity for me that I take advantage of is creativity. Creativity for me, this is me personally, is writing. Creativity for me is coming up with new ideas and new ways to do things. Creativity for me is research and discovering things. Creativity for me is looking at beautiful things. So that's why I like Instagram, because I can go and I can look at beautiful places to travel and beautiful things that people are saying, hey, you didn't know about this, but guess what? I'm putting this in your face. What about knowing about this? And again, my mental wellness comes with the rest. It's a must for me. It's not I'll get around to it. It's kind of like when I talk to people and they say, oh, I don't have time to meditate. I always think they're the perfect candidate to learn to meditate because they think they don't have time. Mental wellness for me is organizing things. I'm always in my closet organizing. I wish I was more organized in other areas of the house, but my office is going to be organized where I can find things. It may be a chaotic mess for you. If you walked in there, you wouldn't be able to find anything, but I know where everything is. My closet is always a hot mess because I'm always on the next bag to travel with, or the next, event to go to, or networking or whatever. But I'm always in there organizing, and I can just go in there and just put my shoes back on the shelf, and I feel good about that. So I don't press or pressure myself with being so tidy that I can't find anything. That's not me. But organizing things that I can find when I need to get to them, that works for me. This right here has been something that I have taken advantage of for the last 35 years of my life in goal setting. I like to set huge, as the little babies say, gargantuan goals. And the excitement for me is to just see how far I can get with it. You know, it's like Ford was known for the car, but who's going to be known for the flying car? Okay. It's like saying, I want to travel all of the U.S., but where outside of the U.S. do I want to go? It's the big goal setting to just see where you can land with it. That's exciting for me. And I love being able to say, well, I finished that. And then I reward myself. So I want to share with you that when you set a goal, you achieve or overachieve a goal, reward yourself. Rewards can look like this. You rest for that whole day. You don't talk to anybody. Turn off all your social media and just have time with yourself. Reward could be a weekend away. Like I just had a weekend away. It was really cool. I love weekend trips. You know, my weekends were either Thursday to Sunday or Friday to Monday. That's a great weekend for me. Now let's talk about this emotional self-care. Because this is going to be really, really important for you, because your emotions is what's going to carry your mental and your physical. You know? For me, number one top notch is boundaries. People I know are in several categories. We're either friends or we're associates, or we just talk every now and then, or I see you once a year. Like some of my car club people, I see them once every 2 years. Some of them I see once a month. Some of them I see once a year, depending on which events they go to. This event I went to the past weekend, those people I'm going to see once a year, unless I see them on the opposite year where we have our big meeting, where we do a road trip. So some of these folks I see once a year, and that's it. And they live right in my same town. It's just that what we have in common is the car, and if it's not about that, then we keep it kosher, you know? This next one, you've probably been doing this since you were a kid, because I know I have been, and I've never been embarrassed or ashamed about it or felt weird about it or anything, but self-talk. Now, I go a little bit beyond, because I don't just talk to myself, but myself talks back. You probably say, yeah, she's strange. Yeah, I am. But my self-care of self-talk is, and I don't know the science behind this, I'm just telling you what works for me. When I ask myself questions out loud, or I say things to myself out loud, there's more impact on it than me just leaving it in my head. I say it out loud. Like if I want a question answered, I'll go, but why, blah, blah, blah. And then, trust me, I will get the answer. I might not get the answer I want, but I'm going to receive the answer. Okay. Another thing that's going to help you emotionally, that helps me, is the relationships that you have. Whether they're personal or professional, it does not matter. Relationships and your emotions go hand in hand. Let's just say you have a friend and she's always fighting with everybody. She's a fighter. Every time she calls you to tell you about all of this stuff, it's seeping into you on a cellular level, and it helps you to put your guards up. Now, not physically, but emotionally, then you're going to become a fighter, and that's not who you want to be. So you have to be really careful. I have broken relationships with people who I just feel like they're just not honest. I have gotten rid of relationships with people who are lackluster. I've gotten rid of people who are liars. I've gotten rid of people who cheat on their spouses. If you cheat on your spouse and we're in business together, you're going to cheat on this business. We're going to end up in trouble. Okay. I have gotten rid of people who energy changed on me. I have gotten rid of people out of my life who just don't seem like they're excited enough about life. I don't want it. So relationships in your life are really, really important. Your connections are also important. There's this thing that they say, there's two things: birds of a feather flock together. And then there's that thing that they say your top 5 friends are as good as you're going to get, or something like that. I don't know if it's true, but you can look around at your friends and start evaluating and see if it's true. You know? I've broken off friendships with people who don't do things that I feel are appropriate, and I don't want to be in public with you because I don't want to be the bird that flock together. I don't hang around people who complain about being broke all the time, or they ain't got it, and they can't even come up with solutions on how to get it, because I'm allergic to broke people. And when I say that, I am not saying that in a nasty way. I'm saying that people who think of themselves as broken, that's all they talk about, is being broke. They don't even have solutions or ask for solutions on how they can get out of that state of mind. You could be talking about something that's coming up in 2 years, and they'll tell you right now, I'm too broke to even think 2 years in the future. I back away from people like that. My self-care includes also digital detoxing. Every week, I will turn my phones off, turn my iPads off. Don't even go in my office or turn my iPad. Nothing. Laptop, nothing. No TV. And I might just be in a book, in my journal, in my calendar, planning something on paper. I love planning on paper. You don't? There's something magical about that pen or pencil, marker, eraser, from the hand to the pen to the paper, from the mind. I love writing my ideas down and then finalizing them by typing them. To me, once I type it, it's final. When I write it down, I can adjust it. That's my thought process, okay? And then finally, reflections. This year, I've had to do a lot of reflecting. And it's been interesting because I've been reflecting on what relationships I no longer want to be a part of. I've been reflecting on what networking groups I do want to be a part of. I've been reflecting on what I can do to show and teach my kids independence financially and through entrepreneurship, setting their legacy through that. I've been reflecting on all of the relationships that I've had professionally with people and how they end up not being a professional relationship anymore. And it's sometimes I just be minding my own business, and these things will pop up in my head, because I need to remind myself so that when they make those phone calls to me to say, hey, how you doing? What you been doing? We ain't talked in about 3 years. I was just wondering, I got this such and such thing going on. I wonder if you're interested. Boom. Remember when people change, but nah, it's okay. No thanks. And that's how I am. I decided in 2024 that my theme for this year was, I'm not pushing you. I'm not pulling you. I'm not dragging you. I'm not trying to convince you of anything. I'm not trying to coerce you. I'm not trying to make you anything that you don't already have the gumption inside of you to go. It's kind of like when I have a conversation with somebody now, my senses are heightened, because if I'm having a conversation with you and you get me, I'm going to know you get me. But if I'm having a conversation with you and you look so confused and you don't get me, I'm going to switch the conversation to something else. I did something so funny this weekend. 2 people were having a conversation about something, and it was really, really cool because I was in the conversation. Another person walked up and started complaining, and I just walked off. I didn't say, excuse me. I didn't say, I got to go, I'll be back. I didn't make an excuse. I just politely, with a smile on my face, I just walked off and started doing something else. I refuse to stand there and listen to whatever that person was complaining and cussing about. I didn't care. I didn't want to hear it. And so I didn't hear it. So all I'm saying is put some things in place. They're going to help you with what you need and how you need it. You know, we're talking about a self-care checklist. Make your own. Physical, make your list. Mental, make your list. Emotional, make your list. And then once you make your list, you can adjust it. So write it, adjust it, and then type the final and then post it somewhere. Like I have this sign in my office that says, my services commiserate with the money that I earn. And that's my reminder. Don't let people keep trying to put your services on sale. Don't let them come to you telling you what they want to pay you when they already know the price. If you ask me for something and I say it's $100, don't tell me you only have 72. Okay, call me back when you get the rest. When you go to Walmart, Target, H-E-B, Kroger, Publix, wherever you go, and you go and buy some fish, and they say it's $8.95 a pound for filet, you don't look at them and say, I know this is $8.95 a pound. I only want one. And if it equals to, give me two. If it equals to a pound, I only have $7.20 to pay. They're going to put it back in the little case, nicely and freshly, and tell you to come back when you have the rest. So stop doing that to business owners. When they tell you what their fee is, your job, so here's how it works. Their fee is what it is. Your job is to figure out how to get the fee if you want their service. End of discussion. Okay? If, as it comes to self-care, if people that you're aligning yourself with don't fit into what you need for your life, for your livelihood, your physical, emotional, and mental wellness, then figure out how you keep them at a distance. It's very easy. You limit everything, back to the boundaries. You limit everything that has to do with associating with them. It's very simple. That's all I have to share today, mothers and daughters. I hope that what I've said has been very helpful. One thing you will learn about me is that I'm going to talk to you about things that directly have affected me, things that I know something about. This is not stuff I read in a book. I'm telling you stuff from real life. You're not going to hear me talking about stuff I don't know about or things that I haven't read about that I've put into practice and play. It's not going to be generalized. It's going to be conversation. My shows come from conversations I'm having with people. It comes from things I'm learning about people. It comes from things that have happened, things that I'm involved in. That's where my conversations come from. This is real life podcasting. And guess what? It's for every woman on the planet. Put down in the comments and tell me what you do for your self-care and what's on your checklist. Maybe I can add something to mine. You know, like reading books. I love that. I love reading books. It helps me mentally and emotionally. I love reading books. You know, reading a book a week helps me out. Keeps me focused. Keeps me on my goal. That's my show for today. Until next time. Bye.